Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. This Facebook Live has been long anticipated. I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago, I put up a comment that said, if you were brave enough to have an expert come in and take a look at your website and let us review it together in this live, then drop your comment below. And so many of you did. So kudos to you for being brave and putting yourself out there in such a vulnerable manner. I'm super excited to introduce you to our guest today. So Kate Merryweather is from .com Words. And she is, I love her slogan here. It is, let's banish boring and kill vanilla from your website. And she is going to go through two websites of our very own members here and give us some feedback on them. So let's bring Kate in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so excited to have you here. Now, I love how we met through a mutual Facebook group membership that we're a part of. And I love seeing your posts in there as well. I stalk people, I have to admit. And so you're always sharing really great ideas and some really cool things. Tell us a little bit about what you do and why.
Well, it's one, things when what you enjoyed as a kid is what you do as an adult, but I just love writing. And when I had kids, I just started freelance writing websites. My old boss, I used to work in PR, my old boss said, can you write my website? And I said, oh, I don't know how to do that, but I'll just learn and then I'll write your website for you. And when you just I didn't really think that it was going to be my career. So I wrote her website and then her accountant said, can you do my website? So I wrote the accountant's website. And then I just thought, maybe I could do this for a living. I've done two. And 8 years later, here I am. And it's just, I've got primary school age children. So it's just a nice job to have with the flexibility. I don't have a boss. I'm my own boss. I can work with people I like. And I just really enjoy helping people get better websites.
Yes. So you take their ideas of the content or what they might be doing and they try you. Because we've got clinicians, and so the clinicians come at it, and I'm sure you've dealt with this with the accountant, using terminology that people just wouldn't necessarily understand, but they're coming at it from one perspective, and you're kind of like, no, they're not going to really relate to this. Do you find yourself translating that?
Yeah, and it's about the way that websites are written. So if you're in a clinical wellness space, you might have a particular way of writing it. It could be quite formal, maybe lots of jargon. And it's about like tapping into this. It's not like this is what we do. We do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. It's about like how you're going to feel like in the wellness space. You want to kind of tap into a bit of the emotion behind the service. So, you're going to feel better. You're going to eliminate those worries or whatever it might be. So you want to tap into that emotion and the storytelling to engage more customers. And it's not just here's a menu of our services, pick what you need.
Yes. And that's what you kind of see a lot of, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do our rapid fire questions. So we've got a few questions that we ask all of our guests. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hand over, you're going to show us your screen, and I'm going to hand the whole live over to you. But just quickly tell us, now I know you're in lockdown with 3 little ones, but are you reading any books or audiobooks or anything?
I just finished Claire Bowditch's book, Your Own Kind of Girl, which was really great. I really enjoyed it. The first couple of I was listening to the audio and she's got a beautiful voice and she's a real performer, so it was lovely. And I was like doing walks. I was crying listening to it. Like it was, and it was like, I'm actually glad I've got a mask because I'm like, not that it covers your eyes, but yeah, that was just a beautiful story. Yeah.
Good.
I just finished it yesterday.
Yeah, I've had a few people say it was really good. So I need to add it to my to-be read list. Is that right?
Yeah, I would definitely listen to it as well because she narrates it herself.
Okay.
And she introduces every chapter with a little song, like a song, and then it's related because all her songs are very personal. Not that I didn't actually know much about her music.
Yeah, I didn't realize she's
great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will add that to my list. Now tell us, If you were to fall safely from a cliff, would you fall with your face to the ground or your back to the ground?
Oh. Well, I did do a skydive once, and I really enjoyed just looking down over Melbourne. So I would say face down so I can see. That's an awesome question.
Yeah, thank you. The next question you've already answered. I asked, have you ever gone skydiving?
Oh,
no. That's awesome. Yes, so you enjoyed it?
Yes. Oh, I was so nervous. I was so nervous.
The adrenaline rush, though.
Yeah. And you're in this tiny little plane, and in the normal planes, you just kind of go, you can't see my hand, you kind of go like really, it just like goes, woo, like it just goes so, and it's like a really rickety old plane.
I know. My mom said to me the first time I went skydiving, she goes, I would never jump out a perfectly good plane. And I was like, Mom, you haven't seen these planes. They're not perfectly good. Holes in them. The doors are open. Yeah, they're not perfectly good.
I turned up a few times where they, you turn up and then they say, oh, it's too windy. So I like, and I think that happened twice. So I was like, I actually really, it's like when something you want to buy is out of stock and then you really want it. So I was like, I'm sick. I want to do it. Yeah. Like you get all revved up to go and then you'd be let down. So that, and I was like, I was actually finally, I'm getting to jump. That maybe helped me. Oh. God, it was scary though. But it was so good. It was so good. Do you get many people saying yes to that, or?
No, I actually get more people say no. More people say no. So, and then I'll say, did you want
I did it over Melbourne, my hometown of Melbourne. So when I was looking down, I could go, oh, there's the MCG, and there's because I did over St Kilda, so I could see like landmarks.
How cool
so I think
is that?
Helped.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And I could see my husband with the 3 kids as I got closer, and they were jumping. And
I love that you did it as a mom as well, because some people say no because they're parents and they're like, I don't want to put myself at risk.
Yeah.
So look at you.
Yeah, but so I'm like a negligent parent but because my brother refused to do it for that same reason, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's.
And then definitely had that thought of, oh, I'm going to die and leave my kids. I definitely had that thought. But here I am.
And look, here you are. Here you are, setting good examples. Now, and tell me, when was the last time you pushed your comfort zones? Because it sounds like you're not afraid to do that.
Oh, well, that was probably it. I don't know. When I push myself out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I can't think. Well, there's nothing to do at the moment in Melbourne.
Well, I was going to ask if closing yourself in lockdown with your 3 children is in and of itself pushing your comfort zones.
Probably, because it really shows me how I define myself by my work, and saying I've been refusing a couple of jobs because I'm a bit just occupied with the kid stuff. Yeah. So that's made me uncomfortable in that regard to think, because I've always just said yes to everything that I could get. And so, and the other thing I would say is probably moving into a niche, because when I first started, I just write anything for anyone. And I was afraid to niche because I was afraid to say no.
Yeah.
But funny that the opposite is true. Like once I started specializing in website and blogging and service-based industries and not doing IT and accountants and lawyers and stuff, it's actually it's easier to niche. So that was probably a business thing, that I stepped out of my comfort zone and started saying no to work that didn't fit my specialty and my values. And it's always scary to say no.
It is, absolutely.
You want the money,
especially when you're working. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so you don't want to say, you don't know when the next job's coming your way or the next client's going to be referred in. So
exactly.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you.
I struggled to answer, but we got there in the end.
You did. No, it was perfect. Actually, I always ask one more question. I forgot about this. Dog or cat person?
Cat. But I really love dogs too. So I would say like 55% cat. But I really love cats and I really love dogs. But I don't own a dog. I've got one obese
All
cat.
right. Yeah. Cat person. We'll keep you on the show a little bit longer.
I know. Not there. I didn't have to think about that one. I was like,
yeah, you
got
didn't.
it.
You knew exactly what it would happen. All right, I'm going to share your screen here, and then I'm going to hand this over to you. We're going to review two sites. So we've got Riv Hub and Erin Todd Psychology. Now, which one are you going to go first?
We'll do Riv Hub first.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead.
How much time do we have? Should I set a timer and do 10 minutes each, or
10 minutes each is perfect. We're 10 minutes in and we've allocated 60 minutes, so that would actually be perfect.
Yeah, all right. I'll just set, it's easy to set the timer on my phone because I will just talk forever if given the opportunity.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so here we are at rivhub.com.au, and what I would say is this, you can see where I'm moving my mouse around. So this layout is really nice and clean. It's very elegant and simple, which I really like. And I really like that you've just got the phone number and email, so it's super easy for people just to call up straight away, because you remember with your website you have several types of audiences, but there's your first-time audience who want to learn more about you, but there's the guys who just want to call you for some reason and they know they don't need to know about you. They're just, a returning patient. They just want to grab your number. So you're giving that to them there, which is great. So the first thing I would look at is, this is what I call your hero statement. And see how I'm clicking on this? This text is embedded in the image, which means that Google can't read it. So that's a bit of a missed opportunity. And also this statement, support when you need it. It's very generic. It's a beautiful photo though. Like, what a great photo. It's adorable. So I would be looking at this statement and making it a lot clearer about what your key strengths are, and a bit of a formula that I use, not always, but sometimes, because you don't want to use a formula that everyone's using, but sometimes it can be a bit of a helping someone. So it might be helping who. So in this case, maybe it's parents or whatever it is. Achieve what? So what are you going to get by what? So helping parents achieve happier kids by blah, blah, blah. So that would just, instead of support when you need it, like that could be any kind of service. Changing that statement and making sure that it's not embedded in the photo, but it's actually written on the website so Google can read it. Because we all want Google to rank our sites, right? We want people to type in phrases and your site to come up. So you've got to tell Google what you're all about. And this image doesn't tell Google much. So the other thing you can do is you can look at the images actually tell Google, and this is your logo, and it's called RivHub Knob G300 DPI. So you could actually put a phrase in your name of your logo that is a phrase that people might be searching rather than just calling it that. So just think about what people are searching, what phrases they're typing in, and where they are on each page. Now with your navigation, I really like it. I actually like the lowercase, but it is quite a lot. So some of these policies and things, forms, fees, maybe fees because people, might want to know, getting started. I'd probably just simplify this nav a bit because people tend to get a bit overwhelmed when there's too many options. So some of these items, services is great. It's great to have a page for every service. It's like you can rank these pages for each of the phrases. So it's really great that you've got a page for each service. And it looks like they're in alphabetical order, which is great, just a logical order. What I would do, I always have your contact in the last, so move your blog and your contact, and you want people to contact you. That's probably your call to action. So it'd be great to have this contact just contrasted out so that it pops out a bit more. See how it's just the same as all the others? So if you made that pale green color, like mint green maybe, I'm not very good on colors, it just draws the eye to that contact a bit more and makes it super easy for people to find your contact page, which is what you want them to do. This is another line. So this is actually embedded in the site, but it's a little bit generic. So you could make that a little bit clearer. And that's where, as I was saying, you could touch some emotion there. Like you sort of have a little bit, like don't wait. But I think if I was working with you, I'd be workshopping something a little bit more, pulling on the heartstrings. Now, this is a huge chunk of text here, and it's just a lot. It's actually great text because you're talking in the second person. Are you worried? Does it feel? Are you struggling? These are great questions. I just feel like if you formatted them differently and made them stand out a bit and tighten them up, this welcome is a bit of a wasted phrase. Like you could say, you could actually make this first question, putting that instead of welcome, getting straight to the point. And this text is just too much. It's just a big wall of text. And we know from a lot of studies of the way that people consume websites, they don't read huge walls of text. They just don't. This is also justified, full justified, which looks nice and neat, but actually is proven to be difficult to read. And it's not inclusive for anyone who struggles visually. Justified text is the hardest. So I would be cutting this text right down, focusing on some key, what we call pain points, which you're talking about these pain points, which is great. But I think just the way it's presented, missing opportunity. So I'd be cutting that right down. But I like the points that you're getting, but it's just a bit lost if people don't. Now, this is really nice. What I love here is there's a bit of a theme going on with your imagery, which is beautiful, like the mountains, like real landscape. And that just is really beautiful and just gives a nice sense of style and cohesion. So I really like that. And then you've got a bit about you. And what I like here is that even though, and it's the old trick with your about section, is it's not really about you. Like, so what you've got here is great. And this kind of copy is really nice and conversational, which I really like. You're not lawyers, you're not accountants. You can use a bit of a conversational, friendly tone that reflects the service that you're offering, which I really like. Then you've got your call to action. Let's connect online and get started. Contact. There's a bit of a gap, so you want them to. This text here is driving them towards the contact, but there's this huge space in between. So that's something easily fixed. You could just bring them together somehow. And then you've got your locations, which is great. You've got lots of locations, so that's easy. So you've got Wagga, New South Wales and Perth. And this is what I really love is you've acknowledged the traditional owners of the land, and you've also got a diversity statement here in your footer. And I think this really should be a standard in any website these days. So if anyone wants to add this to their site, I've actually got a blog on my website about how to do it and what to consider. When you've got different locations like you do, it's important to either have a general statement, which you do, but if you're just in one location, you can actually look up the specific nation of the area where you're working and acknowledge them specifically. If you've got multiple locations, you can just do a generic statement. I think it's a really nice thing to do. With your footer, you could probably pad it out a bit more. You could, it's almost like another point of navigation. So you could have links to your key services. You could have logos of any professional memberships that you have. So you should pimp out this footer a bit more. This is a link. So Brighter Vision presumably designed your website, and then they gave themselves a good old backlink back to their own website. So I hope they asked your permission before they did that, because it really does no service to you. It's just a service to them. So they've built your site, and then they've gone and given themselves a link back, which is fine if you're happy to do it, but it's really serving them and not serving you. You've got a privacy policy here. Whoops. But you probably need a disclaimer. I'll zoom out a bit. Where's my zoom? Need a disclaimer and some terms and conditions. So I would be, whoops, where am I going? I would be updating that. Sorry, let me just zoom out, reset. So I would pimp out this footer, privacy policy, terms and conditions, disclaimer, and then a copyright statement, copyright, all rights reserved 2020. Just to get all the dots lined up. Is that the phrase? Cross your... There's my timer, saved by the bell. Okay, so that was a very rough look at your homepage, but I think there's a couple of things that you could fix up there that would just make it even more impactful. But overall, I think it's looking really great. So well done. Okay, now let's move over to Erin. Okay, so here's Erin's homepage. Now, this is what I was talking about in the navigation, is having this great contrasting book now, and it really draws the eye, and it's in your accent color so that it just draws the eye to this. And this is what you want them to be doing. You want them to be booking. So this is good nav. And the other good thing about this nav is it's quite simple. There's not too many options. So it's not overwhelming. So I really like this nav. So this is good in that this text is readable by Google. The image is nice. It's a little bit, it doesn't tap into any emotions. So you could say, well, online clinical and health coaching services to achieve what? So that you, I don't know, break down, limit, or whatever. I don't know what the outcome might be. But it's nice to just talk about the benefits, not just the features, and just have that little one-liner. I call it a hero statement to say this is what we're all about. I think this image is nice, but if this is just you, Erin, I'd really think about making it a picture of you, because it is you and it's a very personal relationship that someone has with their psychologist. So I'd be wanting to see you front and center. It's Erin Todd Psychology. So I don't know if it's just you and you don't have a team of 10 other psychologists. So maybe an image of you looking really warm and welcoming would be more impactful and personable than, even though it's a nice image, it's a peer. So this is the difference that Erin has with her, opening sentence. She's talking directly to the customer or to the reader, and she's only got 3 points. So this is what I think is really great. And this is just comparing to RivHub, who had 3 paragraphs of quite a lot of text. So what I would do is I would just add, are you feeling stressed? Are you wanting blah, blah? So then I'd have one more sentence which says, we help you achieve blah, blah, blah. By working with us, you can expect. I know it's hard with psychology because you can't promise them, to change the world or whatever it might be. But think about some of the benefits that you can just, so you've kind of got, you've got the pain, but you haven't got the solution, or the solution is just make an appointment. So I would just talk about the solution a bit more. Love this book now, just real simple, nice, clean. Here's Erin. So you've got, what I would do here, if you can, now this is a Squarespace, so it should be pretty easy. The thing about Squarespace is that it's super easy to just change this up. But this is talking about it. This is a new section. So if you could change the color and just use like a nice background just to delineate the difference that now we're talking about Erin. And you've said, find out more about Erin. Like I like this because you're directing them to the about page, and you've got a nice picture. But you could actually do a bit more of an introduction to, Erin really cares, or Erin believes, or hey, I'm Erin in the first person. I'm Erin, and I'm here to help you break through or confront your trauma or whatever it is that you do, Erin. And then give them a bit more of a compelling reason than just find out more about Erin. Like, what's your neon sign on your wall say? Like, what do you really believe and passionate about? Like, just share that here, and then they'll be encouraged to click more. And then I like this because you've highlighted this key service, which is probably really important right now because people can't always see you face to face. And who knows, even if you're not in Melbourne where I am, who knows what's going to happen in the future. So you're talking about your online consultations, which is great. And again, I think your footer could be padded out a bit. So what I like here is that you've got your training logo. So that's like a proof point. You could add your services, all the things I said before. So you need your terms and conditions. Oh, you've got a privacy policy here. You've got a consent form. You need terms and conditions. You need all rights reserved. Google actually looks at those little things. You could also have links to your Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever your social platforms. So yeah, really pimp out that footer. You can have lots of stuff. Now with Squarespace, this is what I was talking about before. You, because you've used Squarespace, they give themselves this, so you can't really get rid of that, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. So I think there's definitely a bit of room to pad that out. Now I didn't set my timer, so I don't know if I've still got time. But what I would say is, I don't know if you can use them, but if you can, testimonials would be good, but I'm pretty sure you probably can't in the health and wellness space. I think that's right, isn't it? So
no.
You can't have testimonials.
Yeah,
normally I'd be like, testimonials, social proof, but no, you can't. So forget that. But you might talk about the kinds of people that you work with or the kinds of outcomes people can expect. So what you might you've got a link to your services. So what I do with your about page is you kind of want to introduce each section. So you could have a little section, Erin, on how it works here. You know, you've got enough room, like people are happy to scroll. So there's no reason to be afraid of a long website page. Your home page is doing all the work. So direct them. So you could have a section on how it works and then a button to the how it works page. And then you could have a section on courses and have a link to your course. So you could probably add more to this homepage. And you could talk about your services too here. So you could have a section that says, my core services are psychology, health, and supervision. Is that 1, 2, 3? I'm not sure. I'll get back to the homepage. So I think, yeah, there's a few little things you could do there. So you could add a bit more depth on this homepage just to encourage. But it's a really simple, clean site, and I really like. So it's a great start. I know it's hard when you're building your own site and it's not your area of expertise. And you're not really sure what to do with it. So it's a really great start, but I think some simple tweaks could probably just make it a bit more impactful. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I sent her an email.
It's a bit of blah, blah. It's a bit of a word vomit.
No, it's great. It was amazing. I sent her an email this morning. I was like, you've been chosen, so make sure you come and watch. And she's like, I was going to watch anyway. And then she's like, why? And I was like, I didn't ask any questions. I just sent the list. I let Kate choose.
I wanted to choose people that had different things. So what I liked about Erin's is this really great simple nav up here.
Yeah.
And what I liked about RivHub was, you know, this beautiful image. And I could see that, you know, they needed some help with some sections. And also I wanted to talk about the welcome to acknowledgement of country. So and I wanted to give them a shout out for having that in because I think that's important. Should I stop sharing now and I can answer some questions if anyone has them?
I've dropped that out of there. So what we've got on here, Erin's just said, thank you so much. It's really helpful.
Pleasure.
What I did too is I dropped the website link in the comments. So everyone will be
that's a template that you can just go and steal. And I've researched that. So anyone can just grab that and steal it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Copy it.
Actually,
Yeah.
what we haven't had any questions. I've been asking if they wanted. No one's asking any
Okay.
questions at the moment. What I would like to talk about, though, is that they can go and get this done with their own website with you. How much time? So we'll drop this in the comments as well. How much time do they get with you when you're reviewing the website? Do you do all the pages? Tell us a little bit about this audit that you do.
Yeah. So it's focusing on the home page, but if there's time, I'll move on to any other page, and I usually go onto the about page or whatever the most important page is. And it's an hour. I can't do the whole site in an hour unless you've got a really light site, and then I can, but then I'll be telling you it's way too light. So I focus on the homepage because that's it's like the cover of the magazine. If the homepage isn't really encouraging, then you won't be opening up the magazine. I really need to get a more modern analogy because magazines are dying.
They're going away, unfortunately.
That's right. So I just go through exactly what I've done now, but you can stop and ask questions, and we'll just keep going until the hour's up. And I record it so that you can then take it and create an action. So we just do it via Zoom, and I'll just say, okay, and I'd probably start to form a bit of the first priority, 1, 2, 3, and these are the most important things you should do, and here's your kind of action plan to fix these up, and also help you if you don't know how to fix it yourself. I can help you. If it's content, that's easier because I can do that. But if it's design or techie stuff, then I'll send you in the way of direction of someone that might be able to help you just do that. Okay, so Georgina's asking about Squarespace affecting SEO. It's okay. I think the Squarespace and Wix are doing a lot better with SEO because 3 or 4 years ago people were saying those sites weren't great for SEO, so they're improving. There's certainly lots of sites that do on Wix and Squarespace that do well. WordPress probably has some advantages, but I wouldn't recommend swapping over, like if you've built a beautiful site on Squarespace or Wix, swapping it over to WordPress just for SEO purposes probably wouldn't be worth it. I've seen Squarespace sites and Wix sites rank well. There's some things that, because it's like a template, there's some things that you would want to fix for your SEO that you're not able to with Wix and Squarespace and other platforms. Like I think GoDaddy has one now that same thing. So you might not be able to fix all of them, but there's a lot of things you can still tweak. Like the content is one of them, like what you've written, which is a huge part of what Google's looking for. There's no problem there. And they're getting better and better because they have to, because SEO is so important. So I would probably just stick with your Wix or Squarespace site.
Whatever you've got.
And jump, you can just Google like SEO for Squarespace and read articles, and there's lots of experts that share lots of free tips on things that you can do to optimize the Squarespace. Getting better and better.
Yeah, I used to use WordPress a long time ago, back when you had to buy, maybe you still do, the .org or the .com, and like it was just so, oh man. And so I've just really gone away from that because most people want to do their own website, don't they? And they really want to put the time and the energy in building in their website and drag and drop templates. Everybody should have a website now.
Absolutely. And those sites make it so easy, and they look so good. They look so good.
Absolutely. Now, just on it, you do they have the .com and .org anymore on WordPress?
I think so. The .com is more of like a blogging style platform where you pay per month, and a .org is free. So if you're on WordPress, you want the .org.
Yeah.
I haven't. That was what I assume they still have .com. I'll have to look. I'll
I
check
don't know.
that.
It's been such a long, and you were kind of like, do you need
It's
it? Do you not
confusing.
need it? Like it was really not, clear. Like I just remember. So but I know that there's a lot of add-ons that you can do with WordPress,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
you can
sort of
get a
endless.
plugin for anything you want, which can be a
Yeah.
good or bad thing because you then get plugin happy and you chuck in a load of plugins and then they all kind of compete with each other and they don't work and they slow your site down. So
Well, that's
that's the good
I
thing about Wix and Squarespace is it's just all nice and clean. You don't have to worry
it's
about any of
so
that stuff.
easy. Yeah.
Unless you
I'll
just
have.
want to because you enjoy it, like, or
Yeah.
if you've got the money and you just want to pay someone
Yeah.
$5,000 or
Just
more,
do it.
like,
Yeah.
or more, really, like more, to
Yeah.
make you a beautiful WordPress site, then
That's it.
stick there.
Just handball it over to someone else.
Yeah.
Now, your offer for this audit, this is such a great price, and this isn't not what you're normally offering to people. I know I put a call out in the group as to how we connected, and you said, I'm happy to do this during this period of time. It's only $99 for an hour.
So yeah, I'm
Is that
happy to get
right?
9 on. Yeah. So you know what? I really have fun. Like I have fun doing them. I like helping people with their site.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
so yeah, I'm
All
happy
right.
to do it.
Tell us a little bit. I'm going to go off script here a little bit, but what is sort of the most fun in terms of the most fun website you've written content for, and what are some of the challenges that you had to kind of overcome with it?
One was I wrote a website for a cannabis retailer in Oregon, Portland,
Oh,
Oregon. So when the
oh,
legislation changed in the States and cannabis became legal,
yeah.
um, this client, and you're like, I don't know how I ended up using them. Like, why didn't they use a local copywriter? But anyway, here I am. They're like, okay, we are going to move into this space, and I had to learn. Like they have, so you know, when you go to the bar, you get a bartender. So they had bud tenders. So you could go in and talk to their bud tender, and the bud tender would be like, well, you're having a party and you want to all get high and have fun, or
Oh,
if you've got a bit of pain and you want to reduce your pain, or you're feeling anxious, you want to relax. Like there's all these different kinds of, blends and different
whoa.
needs. And
Oh.
it was so interesting. And I was like, I didn't know any of this. Like,
Did you feel, because I remember a few years ago when CBD got to be more and more of a common term, a lot of my clients who are near CBDs here, like location wise, their AdWords and their keywords were being blocked by Google because they were not allowed to
yeah.
use that term for marketing. Did you feel guilty when you were writing that content, or how did you do research on how to connect?
I know. I Googled so much about like marijuana, cannabis, and I was like, this history looks so bad. Like it looks like I'm totally
So
junkie.
dodgy.
But because they were so enthusiastic about how they help people, and it was legal. Like it was legal. So, and they were just talking, if someone's got like getting migraines, or they've just got lots of aches, and they just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Then there's all these different, and I just found it really interesting, and I really enjoyed that project. Yeah, so that's always one that comes to mind.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Is there anything that you'd like to tell our audience today, or any key takeaway that you want to give them to be mindful of around their content or their website?
I think I would say, even though I say sometimes you don't want to worry about your competition, but realistically, if your customers shopping around, then just look at how your site compares to your competition, and you want it to give more value. You want it to be better looking. You want it to show more. So it's worth just looking at who else is around there and what their websites have that yours don't. Because when all things are equal, if your prices are equal and everything else is pretty much the same, then the customers will make rather arbitrary choices on why they pick you or someone else. And so some of those things can be the difference between getting that phone call or someone getting it. So I'll just see how it's always to go, this looks good. I'm looking at my own site. Yeah, it looks good. But your customer will be comparing it to others. So if you can do that same and just say, well, yes, it looks good, but how does it stack up against others? That will make the difference, I think.
I love that because you know what, actually, Kate, what I hear people doing more often is saying, so and so down the road has this on their website, so I have to have it on mine. Instead of looking at, like what they could have to make it better, I often find that they're looking to make it similar.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't want to make it similar because you don't want to copy. But yeah, you want to make it better. You want them to be saying that about your website, right? So you want them to be going, oh, they've got this awesome thing and I don't have it. So let them copy you, right?
I love that. I love that. Are your children boys at all? That was sort of like a very sort of like soccer mom kind of response.
No, I've got 3 girls. They're all girls.
Great. That's awesome. I imagine them kind of like playing netball all together and you're like, no, go after your competition.
Oh, I'm that, when you think I'm that mum that just like, I literally crossed a line. Like there was a line that you had to stand behind and I ran over the line and was yelling at my kid. It was a word. And it was like, I had this moment where I was like, I'm that parent that's yelling at their kid. And it was awful. And I've realized I've got to, yeah. So yes,
you totally forgive yourself.
I'm that parent. And I had to just really, have a look at myself and go, You can't do that. That was awful. And there was like a literal line that I crossed to go and yell at my kid. I haven't had a chance this winter because there's been no kids sport.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, what I'd like to say is stay safe in lockdown. Try and stay sane.
Yeah, and anyone else is in Melbourne, it's
absolutely.
It is what it is. Like
that's right. Head down, bum up, kind of plow through it. Yeah. 2021 will be a better year, right? Like, hopefully.
Yeah, this year's like it's only 3 months to go now. Just is it 4 months to go. Just write it off, man.
That's exactly right. We're definitely gonna write it off. Thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely appreciate what you've done.
Oh, it's been fun. I really enjoy just checking out the sites, and thanks to everyone who submitted theirs for review. It can be a bit nerve-wracking to have someone critique it. So thanks to everyone.
Thank you so much. We'll see everyone later. Bye.
Okay, bye.